Welcome to the 10th marketing meeting. As always, um, keep the open-minded. It's okay to disagree, but it's important to listen to each other. So I'm going to share, I should have shared this already before, but I'm going to start sharing actually the whole window, the whole screen, if that's even possible. Yeah, because we'll be doing some more interesting things. But there we go. So today on the agenda, I'll make it a bit bigger so it's readable. I would just like, so I think I added this from the previous meeting notes, but it was kind of tied to Samuel and maybe it slipped through our discussion.
Yeah, and it slipped from my mind too. I just took a note to now ask what we decided to ask 2 meetings ago.
Okay. Okay. I think I forgot the name, but we receive also the email what's happening to the webmaster NixOS.org. So I'm going to forward you the email and you can take it from there. Sounds good?
All right.
Awesome. Okay, so the next item is update on the redesign. So as you know, a week before, we started to work on a redesign. We hired a designer. Most of us on this call, we already seen it, but it's maybe more important to just like quickly go through it. I will time myself to be below 5 minutes. So, and without, so to kind of explain it. So the redesign, so we are halfway through the redesign, but you can already see what the direction that we're going. Samuel already started on the implementation part, so by the next meeting, we should be pretty far. I will include all the links where help is needed and when help is needed in the meeting minutes. But for now, let's just go quickly through it. So this is kind of the color scheme and the two types of font on the black and on the light and dark, kind of the sizes in comparison. All these links for to this PDF will be available in the minutes, so we can see them. Then we have few options how to do our top navigation. So nothing from this was actually chosen yet. Once we will do implementation, we will simply try and see what fits best. And also as we work with the designer, we are just like testing different options as well as we go. And so far, if I'm not mistaken, we already have like 4 meetings with the designer every second day. So it's progressing pretty fast. So, so this is the navigation bar, few options, I think like 6, 7, 8, 9 options. Below that comes the, how we call this, cover box, like where we have our video and our slogan. It's different colors. Maybe zooming in a bit would be nicer. So a bit darker. Not sure if it's visible on the recording, but there is some kind of a logo is also visible in the background. And when you click on the video, it will pop out and start playing. So this next one, below the cover area, we have like 3 boxes where we explain why to choose Nix or NixOS. So this is just kind of 3 options, how to align them, spacing, fixed, and the sizes. Most likely we will go with the last one, where we will also include the custom-made icons or some graphic, which will be done at the end, this text will also change. This is also an example with the sliding. Next, we have a search box. So the search area. The important thing to note here, we have this, I don't know how to call this, but let's say this L design, which this theme will be throughout the website, will be visible. You will see some other examples later on, but this kind of comes from the Nix logo, so it's kind of reusing the efforts. Next comes our examples. So we will do similarly as our video at the top. We will convert them to those ASCII Cinema videos. And when you click on them, they will start playing in a bigger format. We will show 3 videos, either in this layout above or in this layout above, and below we will list as much as example as we think is still needed on the front page. So this is all about the landing page. That's the logo. What else? This is kind of the example, one of the example when things fit together. This is the mobile version of it. So nothing here is set in stone, but we are experimenting, and will experiment with this even during the implementation phase. So when we are writing CSS and HTML. This is an example of this special announcement. So when there is a new release coming or a conference coming and things like this. So we could use this, or maybe when there is a community survey, and we expect everybody to answer it. So this is one of the, this is the search again, in a bit different format. These are the footers, different colors, but layout is kind of the same. Again, another selection of how to put things together with different colors. Let me just see, maybe there is something interesting. There is, for the download page, some items. Maybe this is the most, like how the top elements might fit together. So we can get the idea how things will look at the end. Okay. This was shortly looking at the redesign. Are there any comments from anybody? You mostly seen this, but there are a few other pages that we redesigned, but we will kind of include them in the next meeting, also in the implementation. Maybe Samuel, you want to talk about the timeline of implementation?
Well, the timeline, I don't have a timeline ready, but already the header and the footer for the wide version of the site, not the narrow version, are mostly done. Choosing the theme, so the either dark or light colors, everything is done in a way we can choose on the fly, so it's not well, it's all configurable. So I guess coming from there up to the end of this week, most graphical elements shown and produced for this new design is going to be implemented. So we have different, I call them sections design. So the big angles with the background colors and the line art that didn't show up in the video, they are going to be mostly done, I think. So timeline-wise, I guess it's going to be, once this is mostly done, we need to rework the content to finalize, which means that it also depends on the writing the content.
Yeah. Okay, so we will work with updating the content and bringing design in. But we will have more results, I suppose, by the next meeting, which is in 2 weeks.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, it's as we have time. I mean, this is on a voluntary basis, but everything so far looks good, and I'm really happy that I think it took us now a week, or it was a bit more than a week to get where we are, and yeah, we need a few more days with the designer, and kind of designs will be, or the idea of the design will be there, and then we'll just use him. We use him for how do you call this? On for certain special cases which we need to design, like icons and things like that. Okay.
And how about, say, the design of the manual? Could we also use him for that?
Yeah,
The
of course.
physical style, yeah.
So the manual is also going to be designed, but like the current manual, like we're just gonna make the spacing correct and everything. But for the new, we can again rehire, because it's just gonna be using the same elements and maybe adding, kind of adjusting it to fit the current design. I mean, I already talked to him, and he said like, yeah, whenever that comes, we can just ping him, and he'll be more than happy to help us. I hope to bring him on this call at least next time, or maybe then after that, when the website is done, so that we know that who actually did it, right? Who helped us. So this is about the redesign. Kind of feedback welcome, although it's a bit too soon. We have not yet anything really to show. But by next time we will have, and then the feedback more than welcome. Especially, I assume we will need a lot of help from everybody testing this, that it looks proper on all devices. But yeah, I think that's kind of it, right, on this topic. Is there anything else somebody would like to add? Going once, twice. Okay. So the next topic, which I hope we will actually will be a bit more elaborate conversation, is the task I was working on is actually rewriting how we talk about Nix, which kind of translates rewriting what we have on features page. And so far, I covered most of the features that we kind of present there, and I tried to turn it around. So instead of talking about the features, I wanted to bring it closer to our audience that we selected. I'll repeat what our audience is a bit later. But instead of talking about the features, for example, we are reproducible, right? This would be a feature. Or Nix is Nix, like atomic upgrades are a feature. But rather than this, we should talk about the benefits of this, right? Because in this way, our audience should connect and understand what Nix is about, and is Nix or NixOS for them. Our audience, I think that should actually start with this, is on the website. I'm talking now, right? Our audience are newcomers to Nix, and kind of managers or decision makers who want to just evaluate whether Nix is something they should introduce to their team, or it's okay to use in the team. So they are kind of two. These are our kind of the primary targets that we're targeting with this features page. How features page is currently written is written for us, or to kind of compare it with. I mean, it's kind of compare it with others who are also implementing package managers, but we want to be more approachable. So, because I've talked too much already, I'm just going to go on this document where I got some help, but these are the ideas. Now, not everything is going to be, like I skipped part of the comment, but you can imagine that there are sections each on each feature or a thing we want to say. What is really hard to strike with English is I don't want us to be looking too fake with marketing, kind of lying. And this is a nice example what I don't want to do, but I included it nevertheless. Like the sky's the limit. This is already going over the border, which I would call, but I want to be honest, right? And a nice example is stop looking for what you're missing. Let Nix remind you. So this is trying to talk about complete dependencies. Now, we are not mentioning directly complete dependencies, but we will. So if you can imagine in a design-wise, this still hasn't been designed, but you can imagine there is going to be some art that will show complete dependency graph, and something is missing, or maybe nothing is missing with Nix, right? So this will be kind of the art. Then it gets a bit bigger, kind of like a small 2-3 sentence area where we will still use this. We'll still talk about benefits, and it's going to be a bit bigger text. Below that, it's going to be, this is still kind of trying to lure him to understand what this feature is about. And only then we will kind of explain the feature in a similar fashion that it's now, right? So either is this going to be in a somehow collapsible way? I'm not sure. We need to see. Maybe not. I think that's not a good option. But yeah, so this is all work in progress. But it's my rule is that I write everything that comes to my mind, because at least then we can review it together. Okay. So should I just go by the titles, and then I'll read it once because it's not that much, and then we can kind of have a round. So complete dependencies feature, they are not in any particular order. That's also, we can then reorder them what's more important. Stop looking for what's missing. Let Nix remind you. Make sure nothing gets left behind, and reduce the risk of incomplete dependency. Stop worrying if all dependencies are in order. Let Nix remind you about the missing pieces. And then, why complete dependencies? If you open the features page and scroll down to complete dependencies, we will include a bit more technical detail explaining how complete dependencies work and why it's important. Going further, this is the most, maybe we should discuss each item individually. I just came to my mind.
Probably, yeah.
Probably, okay.
Or maybe go through them first, and then we can.
And then
just,
go
to have the overview of.
Okay, so then we have, this is the weirdest title of them all. It's kind of patches. I'm trying to kind of show this transparent source binary model. This is the feature, but it's like patches, custom changes, the sky's the limit, or kind of there is no limit. This clearly needs to be changed, but completely customizable build tool, get the power to adjust any part of the built environment. All changes are transparent, and Nix keeps it that way. So kind of, this is the worst section actually that it's here. Kind of, it doesn't really show the benefit yet, but all ideas are welcome. I will later share this document, or actually I will already share it on the chat. So you can actually oh, but then I need to add all emails. I'll do it afterwards, just so I don't disclose any personal details. Okay, so patches, then it's multiple development environments, no conflicts with operating systems. This is kind of explaining here, like explaining that everything is, explaining basically the Nix store and how the hashing works and all of this. So securely install software with no risk of breaking anything down. Nix prevents conflicts not only between multiple environments, but also with the operating system. All packages remain installed side by side, even if different users install packages with the same dependencies. So kind of this touches also the multi-user, but more the feature that I want to kind of get here is the kind of explain afterwards how the Nix store works. And why there is no conflict between this. Important thing, this is kind of between multiple environments. So this is because people will have multiple development environments, and usually the question asks, how does this work with the operating system? Does it conflict and so on? And I think this is important to kind of put it up front. Atomic upgrades, right? This is or kind of the link farm, or how this kind of works. Leave nothing behind, instantly upgrade. Maybe a bit too marketingy, but I definitely think that instantly upgrade is instant upgrade or something along this way is the right word. Especially if you look at the history, why we call it atomic upgrade, like the reason behind the atomic. But yeah, to eliminate the risk of leaving any parts behind, all operations are atomic. Nix sets everything in place, and once ready, there are only two possible outcomes. Upgrade was successful, or upgrade did not happen. So I think kind of this statement at the end kind of made it like either it happens or not, atomic, right? And then we explain how this works. I think there are two more. So kind of profiles, generations, garbage collection, why we can. Is the previous version better? Question mark, rollback anytime. Packages are never overwritten, and the old versions are always stored. Roll back to any previous versions within milliseconds. Yes, again, with a trustworthy atomic operation. We could actually here replace it with instant. We can have a discussion a bit later why this is. I think it's important, but maybe it's actually not. So we can just have atomic here as well. So multiple kind of features here, talking about profiles, generations, garbage collection, because we need to kind of mention how to get rid of the old generations. This be carefree, develop with no limits. I find this is talking about reproducibility, and the word carefree, and actually the sentence or the phrase "be carefree" is actually a really catchy. The more I read it, the more it sticks to me. That this is the reason for reproducibility. Yes, there are other benefits, but like I think this will speak to the most users. Only my opinion, right? So gives you the power to build and deploy software consistently on different machines. Save time, be carefree, and roll back anytime to previous versions. Nix will make sure all dependencies are in place. As you can see, we're talking about multiple features, but I think this is the most important. Save time, be carefree. And then it explains why this is the case. This is it. And yeah, shred it to pieces. Let's start with the first one. Or maybe let's start with the last one, because it's the freshest. Be carefree, develop with no limits. So reproducibility. Because I would ask somebody to give word to others, because I'm not seeing the faces, because I'm sharing the full screen.
So they look pretty good to me. One thing that might be missing is multiple languages, or as language agnostic.
Good one. This is actually really important. How do you do this? Anyway, then we're agnostic. Okay.
I think the header "be carefree, develop with no limits." I don't know. Then it says reproducibility, but you could also say that's about the ability to roll back. So it's about a few different things, right?
Yeah. Well, it is. Although the target was more reproducibility. So where the rollback came here, it's because save time, be carefree, and because you're right. It's a bit multiple
Maybe
things.
the develop word could be replaced with experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just give it
And with no limits is a bit. I mean, you could say that about. I mean, it's sort of a general thing, aspiration.
I wonder.
And maybe experiment safely, or I don't know.
Okay. Experiment
without fear.
Carefree. Experiment carefree. Without fear. Okay, but then we assume that the user has fear.
Or fearless. I mean, it's like Rust has fearless concurrency. You can have fearless deployment or reproducibility.
We know that the user has fears. He is using a computer.
Yeah, exactly.
We all do, right? So I put here fearless experimentation or experimenting or something along these lines. I don't know. Yeah. So I think we can once we share, we can come with a better ideas here. Okay. So it talks a bit about multiple points. So this language agnostic we will add it a bit later. So until next time, is previous version better? Rollback anytime, and then the rest.
Yeah, so that's actually a bit overlapping with the
bottom one.
Yeah, not the reproducibility part, but the experiment safely part.
We might merge them. Be carefree, rollback anytime.
Yeah, although reproducibility is probably a thing that should be mentioned somewhere, but yeah.
It also might be good to just hammer it in for the reader. They don't really see that the reproducibility gives them rollback, and that rollback gives them the ability to experiment. So it might not be a bad idea to even
duplicate
2 times.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's very good to say explicitly why reproducibility is useful. I mean, there was a Hacker News post today about why reproducibility is useless. So well, they was talking about binary reproducibility.
Yeah. But I think here we kind of go this fearless experimentation. So kind of saving the time. That would be the reproducible part in Nix. That's the reason. That's the selling point. At least this is the one I could. I think
it could also be to deploy the exact same package that you have locally. So developers package something and then deploy it, and it's exactly the same.
Yeah, it kind of
move from testing to production with the assurance that it's the same.
Yes.
No more. It works on my machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's actually a nice one to have as a headline between quotes. It works on my machine.
Oh, like
that's a very recognizable thing.
Mm-hmm. We might even have like from a strip, where it's a developer, it works on my machine. Another developer, no, it works on all machines. You know what I mean? In the
yes,
right.
Yeah. So we
you
can
mean
do
a strikeout.
Exactly. Yeah. So we can be smart about with the design. We can tell also a lot, like this more catch phrases. Is it okay if we go further?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is leave nothing behind, instantly upgrade, and then all the rest.
I think instantly sounds like in time, like you hit update and it's instantly complete. But usually you have to download things or compile things, and that takes time. It could be misleading here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe atomic upgrades is a term that is commonly used.
So I will tell you where atomic comes from if or somebody else wants to explain it. So atomic comes from the time when people thought atom was not dividable. Only now we know it is.
I mean, that's what it means. Atom is indivisible in Greek.
Exactly.
But it might also come from the atomicity promises of databases.
Yeah, that's actually. I mean, you could even use a term like transactionality or assets or something like that. So basically, we provide database-like guarantees for the integrity of the system.
Integrity. How would you? So we can clearly it's so we say upgrades are not instant.
Oh, we could say your system on asset or something like that.
That it might actually work because it's.
Yeah.
I mean, we're assuming people have humor, so that's. I would avoid humor, or at least potentially dangerous one. I'd love it, but yeah. Okay, let's work on this one further as we go. We know that instantly is not going to be there. Leave nothing behind kind of works. We just need to find the second part or maybe the whole thing. But I really like the rest of the text, especially the last. It kind of explains without the doubt what atomic upgrades are.
Yes.
And then we explain, of course, the linking farm and the picture where is Ilko's home, and then everything, the Firefox gets installed.
Right.
We need to find the name for the mascot. We need the mascot first, then we need to find the name, and then we can use that as a user in our examples. So for anybody listening, give ideas on the mascot. Anything further on this, except that we need to work on it on the title, but offline. And the text looks okay. Next one, multiple development environments, no conflicts with the operating system. And then, again, title, it's like okay-ish. I like the no conflict it's being mentioned. I think that's important. Then the rest around, I'm not sure. But description fits properly it fits. It explains in few sentences.
Yeah, maybe isolation between development environments or disposable development environments. But yeah, to keep to the assets, keeping the I in asset is isolation. So
I would say if maybe let's start. Whoever thinks about this, we should maybe think from a perspective. What are the current problems that user faces? Let's say there is a user and it has two development environments and they somehow collide or something. And what would that user be looking for as a feature?
So users, they get annoyed that they have to pollute their system by things that some development environment needs. So they're running all these crazy scripts to install all sorts of dependencies in various places. And so maybe, yeah, stop polluting your system.
Stop pollution.
Yeah.
If I even know how to spell this.
Or something like messing up your system or so.
But then, yeah. But even if you say no conflicts with the operating system, kind of says it as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Not sure it's the best. Let's work on it.
I mean, isolation is also a good
Isolation.
term. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
And just something about the last sentence. It finishes with, it ends with the same dependencies, but the issue is not with the same dependencies, it's with conflicting dependencies.
Even with the conflicting.
With different versions of the same package.
I think it's, if we're talking about no conflicts, then it installed packages with conflicting dependencies side by side, right? So it kind of works.
Yeah, and it's just that the same dependencies for Nix is not an issue. So, and it's not an issue for any other package management. So the word, I think, it was
conflicting. That's a good catch. I'll just fix it immediately. Okay. Okay, this is the worst one. Any suggestion is like, I think this is. We don't want to discuss it because it's clearly not a good one. But I would just ask you to fix it or suggest in after the meeting. Does that make sense? Or except if you have like something that I should include.
I had something right now that I think I forget it. So I don't know how, but I think that coherence or coherently or coherent should be in there. So I don't know where, but I think the word is important because it's patches and custom changes. And what's the issue with that? There's no issue, except that generally when you start going with patches and custom changes, your system stops being coherent. It starts being a big ball of mess. So I think that that's a key word for this section.
Okay, coherent. Okay, but I would ask again, as somebody that wants to change few of the patches, what would the developer in this case, want to search for in Google if he is looking for a system that wants this flexibility, or will it look for coherent? Like, I understand.
Yeah, and coherent can mean different things to different people.
Anyway, we're going to add it here because we can always.
And not necessarily in the title. I just think that it's something that that should be explained, that it keeps everything as one single unit, one. It's, instead of being just a set of patches that you have to deal with externally or in a way that we know how it works with the hash, the X build, but they don't. So
yeah, that gets back to reproducible. So you have your coherent description, which is, because it's a complete description, it's reproducible. Complete is right, and maybe declarative, but that's also a word that means different things, or doesn't mean anything to a lot of people. So
I think this is something we can
we could describe it as modify packages easily. For example, I think you can't modify packages on Ubuntu or something.
This is so I think our main use case is not to change packages, but it's development environments, and we need to speak to that. Like, I know that you can do this but our main audience is development environments, and if somebody, we need to speak to these people. Does it make sense? What I'm trying to.
I don't understand it. What patches do mean there?
So when you work on a development environment, right? Let's say you are working on a project, and usually this means you will use many dependencies. And a lot of times happens that you need this dependency, but because it's like there is a fix for a problem that you have, but you just need to wait. Oh, no waiting for patches. There we go. Or no waiting for upstream releases or something like this. You know what I'm trying to say? Does it make even sense?
But then you modify the package of the dependency?
Yeah, of course, but this does not speak to somebody. People don't care about packages at this point.
Oh,
they care
okay,
about development environment, right? And you need to look from the eyes of a developer.
Okay, just the word.
Yeah. I know.
Okay,
I know.
yes.
So, but it's like, what did I say?
Don't wait for.
Yeah, upstream. No, don't wait. We'll say it differently, but don't wait for upstream releases or something in this sense.
Yes.
I think that would, if you don't wait for upstream releases, what is the benefit? You progress faster.
Quicker updates.
No, not quicker updates, but it's like you develop faster. I don't know. We can brainstorm later. It's not that important.
You don't wait.
Yeah. The last one. This is like a complete dependency, which we mentioned it already a bit, but I think it's okay if it repeats, if the features kind of repeat, because they are connected, right? That's why ACID is quite we're displaying. Yeah, we could use ACID in any of these titles almost. Stop looking for what is missing. Let Nix remind you.
My main concern with this is the way it's telling Nix reminds you about the missing pieces. Let's say that you package your development environment and it uses Node for something, and you don't include Node. Nix will not tell you that you're missing Node and other dependencies from Node. It will probably fail depending on how you run the system, but Nix itself won't tell you, hey, you are missing Node.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's really the other way around. Nix forces you to remind it about missing dependencies.
Exactly.
And stop looking for what is missing. Well, yeah, you still have to look for what is missing because Nix won't really tell you.
So Nix forces you to, again?
Specify dependencies. But I mean, maybe want a catchy way to phrase that. Nix forces you to be complete about everything that your project needs.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hide from Nix. That's
You can hide.
You cannot.
You can.
Yeah.
Hide things.
I'm not sure if that is a
you can't be.
feature.
I mean, that's right.
Yeah,
it's a bit. I mean, it sounds like work, and in a way,
yes.
it is.
Yeah. Let's think again from the perspective of somebody.
From the perspective of the user, so the story you can tell here is that, it just actually gets back to it works on my machine, or it works on their machine. So one developer has this project and it compiles on their machine and then it fails on somebody else's machine because they weren't complete about the dependencies. So basically, this whole section, we can combine it with the it works on my machine thing.
Maybe it works on your machine.
Works on every machine.
Yeah, exactly. It works on my machine. Yeah, if it works on my machine, then I don't have a problem. It's somebody else's problem. But if it works on their machine, it's my problem.
So it works on all machines, everywhere.
Yeah.
But okay.
Might be too broad.
Yeah, I know. This is the process, right? It's like
Yes.
we are. I'm sure we're gonna change it numerous times, and that's good. That's good. So that's kind of it. There is one thing. So kind of the process that I want to have here is I want to expand a bit more with the rest of the features. So there are two features missing, and one is we said language agnostic, and the other one is declarative configuration. This is in relation to NixOS. Declarative. Okay, thank you, Google, for autocorrect. So these two things I would like to add. Yeah. So I would like to add this, and once we have roughly the idea, it's okay if it's not perfect, like the words and everything, but we could then already. I would like to give it by Monday. It's okay if it's not perfect, but I'd like to give it already to the designer on Monday, and that he can see how this can be arranged on a design, and then maybe we will have a better idea.
So for the designer, does the actual contents matter, or is it just the number of items?
The number of items, but I think it should be flexible so that we can always add and remove. I think what is important that like we need some kind of a structure, and I think this is like a title, a bigger description, and then maybe there are a few items that we want to explain. There are multiple ways how we can do this. How design can solve this, so that it's not cluttered, but still that you explain everything, so that nothing is hidden. So I'd like that. It's a bit hard because we need to kind of work at the same time on both things. But I think we're gonna come to a satisfactory result. So after that, one of the things we need from this, I would like to, so all these titles I would like to take 3 catchphrases, 3, like be carefree is quite interesting, and to build around it. If you remember, we had on a design this. So you can imagine be carefree could be one of them, and be secure, be whatever, or just carefree, secure. And to come up out of this with 3 sections with a bit of the description, we can even repeat it for what's worth, right? And even maybe, kind of take the top 3, how it's called, top 3 sections of this features page and kind of include it in the landing page. And out of that, after this all is done, the last thing that's waiting for us, and this is not going to be a huge debate, but maybe we're going to have more ideas at this point because we will go through this process, is to fix this text, right? And even maybe we'll come up with a different slogan if that is happening. But this is then the last part, so kind of working backwards. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll share this right after the meeting. And the link is already there. I will give you the permissions are I will give you the.
You said earlier that you didn't want to do this to not leak information
Okay.
by sharing the screen.
There we go. A sucker. Well, I don't read those emails. So this, yeah, I think that's it about the. Sorry, we'll go back to the agenda. It's about the rewriting the features page. Any comments, or we can move to the next point. Okay, David?
Yes. So we talked the last time about the community survey and decided to do a small test survey at the end of the year or after we updated the website with a new design. And I wanted to discuss what topics we want to actually cover. You could open the document again that I shared last time.
So, okay, I'll share again. Just a second. No. Okay, you should see yourself, and I forgot.
It's in the agenda from last time.
Perfect. Here we go.
And to the questions at the end.
Questions are at the end.
Yes, content-wise.
So
we can discuss if you want to ask about the background of the person, where they come from, or if we want to dismiss it this time.
I think I have a different problem here. It's hard to talk about questions without having a clear picture. What do we want from this?
Yes. Okay.
If we are asking for how old are you, what do we want to get from this? Like, I would like to see this connection being done. So like each question should come with a reason why, right? And like, so that, because otherwise, why are we asking? Does it make sense for them?
Yes.
And then I'm not sure how to work on this, because it would be, so first I cannot edit this file. It would be nice to have it in something that we can kind of collaborate on.
I can make it open for everyone.
Okay, so that we can add comments and such, right?
Yes.
And maybe, but I think this will not happen. Like, we can go through all the questions. If we have specific questions, like, is this okay? Is this not okay? We can collect quick feedback, but the real work on this will happen between the meetings, I think.
Yes.
Like,
so we can discuss now what do we want this time.
Yeah, I think this is important. So kind of, what do we want? We discussed this already, right? We want to know, like, certain things. I think it's even here written somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. Goals. What are the goals? Right? But maybe we need to expand those.
Yes. What specific goal do we have this time with a test survey?
So I'd definitely like to know about about the marketing work that we're doing, website, this kind of
The
stuff.
website design?
Not even that, not really with the design, but can you find something, like can you find your things? And then in correlations, we were also interesting what we would be also in, because of this is the goal, we are also interesting what is your background? What is your, like, where do you work? Do you use Nix at work? Because then this, in correlations, this kind of tells us who our audience is on the website.
Yes.
Are you writing this down? Because I'm not sure I can't hear right now.
Yes, a little.
Okay.
But you can also edit it now.
Okay. It's recorded, so we can circle back to this. So from my point, like from marketing point of view, I think that this would be like we need to know whether we did a good job, and maybe ask, are the direction like that we're going, is this okay? Like, I would like to confirm or drop the idea that our main audience is or should be developers and how to call and system administrators, right?
Yes.
And also,
That can we know from the background questions?
yeah, exactly. And I assume if this is done after the release, we can just generally ask about, like, if you're in, like, I would like to improve well, everybody would like, but what I think it's like all these issues that we have, we could ask about RFC. So if you're a Nix community member, like if you contribute to, if you open a pull request, right, you're already a member of Nix community, or you're a Nix contributor in some sort. So like, was the whole process good? What was missing? What would you add? Like, and maybe we can ask, did you contribute to the RFC discussion as well? So kind of get a feedback on this. I'm not telling that we should do this all in one survey, but we can, maybe one now, one next time. I mean, one section next time, but we can use it to improve things.
But maybe we already know that the process is not perfect. Like pull requests take very long.
Yeah. But we can ask still for the feedback, or it's not always bad. That's also true, right?
Yes.
And also, you need, if you say something is bad, you need to compare it. Bad compared to what? So it's important that we know, like, somebody coming from this community thinks that our process is better. It's okay, for example.
But we might get the same feedback all over again. But maybe that shows that it's important.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think these kind of goals need to be discussed, and I think I would like that we go with this once we have some goals and we write them down as part, like as a marketing team.
Yes.
Maybe go around and even, like, once we have it, maybe collect them on Discord. What should we look for in survey?
By the way, since this was mentioned last time, so Tobias and some other people at Tweak are also working on a survey. Did you talk with him, with Tobias Tweak?
I tried to talk to them, but I had no success to get any information.
Yeah.
Okay.
I talked to Tobias, and I think the goals of the survey they're doing is a bit different. Like, they don't want to. Their goals are not to. They just want to know what the community is about. It is like basic statistics. That's it. They don't. They definitely don't want to include or at least that's not the goal. How was I told to include, things that like, how is the website okay? Like I'm generalizing, right? But there will be better questions, of course. Is the website okay? But they just want to know the general statistic of the community.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Well, I mean, I was just looking at their survey. Yeah, there's a lot of statistics like what sort of programming language or platform do you use. But yeah, also some things like what are you using Nix for? Yeah, okay. It doesn't really ask like, well, okay, there are questions like if you're not using Nix, why not? So what are your pain points?
So there are certain things that probably will duplicate, but I think it's okay. Maybe we can build upon it. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out, or
right,
if it does, and so on. But I definitely think we should continue with this.
He said to me that they don't continue their work on their survey. So we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, when did he say that?
A few days ago.
I think he's on vacation. He went on vacation.
Okay.
A few days ago, so that's why he's unresponsive.
Yeah, I don't think he meant that he was canceling it. That's not my understanding.
We will ask what's happening internally, so we know.
Okay.
Okay. So just summarize what we said. In order to improve, in order to get to the questions, we need to have better goals. And each goal should be correlated, like each question should have one or more goals. It should be there because of one or more goals. So yeah, okay. I think this is it. All right. That's the last item on the list. Any other topics to discuss that's not there? Okay. Thank you everybody for coming, and see you in 2 weeks, if not 2.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Ciao.
Bye.